Hey everyone, Kaori over here representing Team Amasian along with Team Amasian number 2.
What's up everyone, and Campia.
Or number 1, however you want to preface it, but that's us right here. And today we are going through another wrestling podcast. I think this is week 12. It might actually be 13, but we are here. We are in the double digits. We've been doing this through the coronavirus, through all the things that have been going on. And I hope that in some shape or form, you are enjoying this podcast as much as we enjoy doing it. So today we are going to talk about results when it comes to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT of the previous week, not this week's Raw, because we're a little bit behind, but we definitely have also in your house the NXT pay-per-view to tell you about, and a couple things in terms of wrestling news. There was not much going on this week, right, Anne? I wouldn't say.
Not from the gossip realm. I mean, we have a few things, but not really. Like nothing earth-shattering. Nobody's like coming back or been fired, I guess.
Yeah. So we're just gonna we just picked up some stuff that we thought was possibly somewhat interesting, but we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty this week when it comes to results. All right, so let's go through the little news tidbits that we have. The first thing that I've got is Zack Ryder, who was let go during the whole layoff work, says he was, quote unquote, shaking with anger after strange request from WWE. So that strange request is they called him asking if he could if they can use his swimming pool. And he was not okay with that because guess what? He was laid off. And the funny thing is, I think it was, what's his face? Oh, I'm brain farting. Our favorite Otis came by and asked if he can use his pool. Completely unrelated to WWE calling and asking if they can use his pool for a cinematic skit or whatnot. And what do you think of this?
I am also calling to see if I could use his pool. Like, I want to see what this freaking pool looks like. Right. The fact that WWE wants to shoot there, Otis wants to come hang out. Like, what is this pool?
Yeah.
Like, or is it because he's like the only person in that area that happens to have a pool? Because as we know in Southern California as well, there's not many houses with pools out here. So I don't know if it's the same situation in Florida.
Well, we also have to quote, it says, please credit the Major Wrestling Figure podcast in case we want to talk about this. So we're just doing that
for sure.
Just for that. But also, so to kind of go deeper into this, Zack Ryder is dating one of the NXT girls, right?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
What is her name in wrestling, though? Or is it Chelsea?
I think it is Chelsea in wrestling.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is WWE doesn't directly call him. They directly call or text her. And she comes up saying this is weird because she got a weird text, and it happens to be WWE asking for the pool. So that's what got him upset because it's, his pool. Mm-hmm. I just think it's funny. It's like, wow, how passive aggressive if that's the case.
That's horrible.
Horrible.
Of course I would have expletives to say, like, and shaking with anger as it's quoted by Wrestling Inc. That's like, come on, just have some like manners or anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
But the thing is, it's for Otis and Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
And I love that Otis just came by to use his pool anyway.
Yeah, I think it's cute. Like, it says Morrison and Miz were actually already going to hang out, which it's just so funny to think Morrison and Miz were already on their way to go chill.
Yeah.
And then they're like, actually, Zach, can Otis come too? Like,
I know. So cute.
It's so random.
So cute. I love this story. I understand why Zack Ryder may have been, quote unquote, shaken with anger, but it's really comical from an outsider standpoint.
Just the whole thing sounds like it's a WWE sketch within somebody's real life happening.
Yeah. And then the next news tidbit, the Hogans again come to light and have reckoned some trouble.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I used that word correctly, but Linda Hogan and Hulk Hogan are apparently banned from all AEW shows by wrestling founder and CEO Tony Khan, he's the founder and all this stuff, of AEW. Apparently he didn't like some of the things that they were saying, and it came off a little Trumpist. It's not a word.
I mean, it's no surprise, right?
Yeah, no.
That where the Hogans fall in terms of like the political spectrum, and Hulk has been under fire for things that he's said in the past that have been either racist or misogynistic or very, very political, right? So, I mean, okay. I don't understand what the context is really, and maybe you can help shed the light here. Was there ever plans to have Hulk Hogan come and be a part of AEW? Is that why this is important now?
I don't know at all. I also don't know why Linda Hogan is relevant.
Yeah, that too. Okay, thank you. I was just about to go there, but go ahead.
Just to say, she was past tense married to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, obviously was banned from the WWE for a while and then made his way back. And there was a lot of controversy with that too. But I think the thing when it comes to WWE and wrestling is, even though there's controversy, someone up above in the wrestling world says, we don't care what people say, or that controversy is actually going to make people watch, and it works. Because they brought him back.
Right.
And we're still watching.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that have happened that we should have stopped watching, and we're still watching. I just think this is just kind of funny because, you know what? If you think about it, Vince McMahon is most likely a Trumpist.
100%. I would put all the money I have on that bet.
Right. So I don't know in what shape or form this would benefit or hurt AEW in any way. But maybe just Tony Khan maybe wants to put himself in the map of saying, I do not support Trump to this level.
Yeah.
And it could be just that. And he's using a celebrity as an example.
To continue to say that. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I could absolutely see that. And it's interesting that you bring up, Vince's association with Trump, because I just saw infographic of all of the companies, entertainment or sports companies that have contributed a lot of money to the Trump campaign.
Wow.
And top of that list is WWE.
That's
second to that, UFC.
That's a big,
Yeah, which is, again, you've got Vince, who's involved with the committee Trump put together. You've got Dana White, who's also involved. So it's just, it just makes sense. I mean, that's their business. That's where they want to put their money. So
I get it. I mean, rich people who have an empire want to protect their money. So I can see why they would go that route. But I think as someone who's not rich, there's a lot more damage for the masses. It's kind of like a utilitarian feeling, I guess,
Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. WWE Hall of Famer Ann Anderson.
Yeah, it is
Ann Capia. Arn Anderson.
Ann Anderson
has signed a multi-year deal with AEW. So as you guys know, he left WWE, or he was released sometime last year. And now he is working with All Elite Wrestling. A lot of people are making moves on the other side. And it's probably, from what it seems like, there are rumblings of just being more healthy in AEW. That's the vibe I'm getting. Obviously, I'm pulling this opinion out of my ass, so don't take it seriously, but that's what I think.
Yeah.
So good for him, you know? I think we've talked about this before. People who make it into the WWE, it's most likely their lifelong dream. As a wrestler, you want to get to the biggest business out there, and to get there, and then having done that, you can do anything you want afterwards to fulfill your life. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, for sure. and Arn has been in a lot of the different wrestling organizations, right? So I feel like you're right. Like, I think he's at a point in his career where he's choosing a place that he feels he will be valuable, provide value to the company, as well as just be happy. And that's really what this article is getting at. Is it sounds like this was absolutely his choice. He's super excited and thrilled to be around the young talent. And if mentoring and kind of bringing people up is his goal, then there's a lot of young talent at AEW that are looking for that guidance. And I think Arn's going to provide that for them. Yeah,
for sure. And he's a big asset to have also as well.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Huge.
And he still looks the same.
I know.
I don't know
crazy.
if you've seen him lately, but it's like no change. Like they got to this one age. Like, it feels like the Four Horsemen, and maybe it's not all of them, but most of the Four Horsemen got to like this age, and then they stopped looking different after that.
That's funny. Yeah, that's true. All right. So now we're going to go into some results talk. I'm looking for, let's do the Raw results. That would be June 2nd or June 1st. I went to the wrong Raw one, so I have to look through this again real quick. I went to yesterday's.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We're not
cheating. Cheating. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, yes. And I'm looking at the pictures, and I remember clearly what we watched. Okay. So first off, we had Seth Rollins, and he was hosting a retirement ceremony for Rey Mysterio.
So stupid.
Which was...
Sorry, just staring at the photo.
I know. It's just weird because we know he ends up staying, right? Was that Rey Mysterio? Yeah, okay.
There was this whole, like, that video with Rey Mysterio sitting down and then his son comes in. I'm not sure if his son is a wrestler or not. I don't know if you know that, but it just looks like he's not going away, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I mean, this is just to scare the kids or whatever, you know. We got Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black. Seth Rollins is great. Aleister Black is great, but I don't feel like there's anything new here. What did you think, Anne?
Agreed. I think, and maybe it goes back to that limited roster. Like, for me, I love that they're building Seth Rollins' little disciple army or whatever we're calling it. But I feel like we see Aleister Black every week.
Yes.
In a match. And I just need a little differentiation, and I don't know that them two together bring like the heat. I don't
think so.
Somebody else.
It doesn't really there's no real build up.
No.
That's the issue. It's like the build up is done within the 2 minutes that they're in the ring. Mm-hmm. It's just not enough.
Yeah.
Especially with someone like Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Who has been champ, who, doesn't even need a belt to be have notoriety.
Yep.
So it just doesn't work, I guess.
I wonder if he's going to take like a long break when they finally have their kid. Because I wonder if there's any hesitation to create a very, very long storyline.
Is she pregnant? Zelina Vega?
Oh, I'm sorry. Seth Rollins.
Oh, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking Aleister. Okay.
I'm just curious I don't know. I think all the storylines right now are kind of weird in general, but I wonder if they're just hesitant to carry out a very, very, very long storyline if he's going to be
I've definitely thought that.
Out a little bit.
And I'm very glad that they're not currently making him being, I'm going to be a daddy.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. That they're not saturating us with the fact that they're having kids.
Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. This horrible results recap is very short. Not ours, but the one I'm reading.
Okay.
But before I look for another one, there's also Zelina Vega is starting to create. Also, by the way, her heels are way too she's taller than Charlie Caruso in the interviews, and that is not true. All right, I don't know.
She's a tiny girl.
She's just, she's tiny, and she's I'm going to break my feet. In these.
Yeah, it is.
Very
it does make me nervous.
Very uncomfortable.
Time we see her.
But anyways, yes, what I was saying is she's starting to have heat against Charlie. I guess one of her teammates is flirty. What's his name? Garza?
Garza, yep.
With Charlie, and she's not liking it.
I know.
See, this kind of bothers me too, only because it's such a female trope that we get jealous
Right.
when a guy friend or a guy or whatever likes someone else.
Yeah.
It's not true to all women. And like, I don't know why they have to play this storyline out.
Yep.
That's just me.
No, I agree. Like and it's the same no matter if we were in the 80s
Yeah.
or
Right.
today.
Right. It's one thing if Charlie Caruso was a wrestler, and maybe she is, and we just don't know that she's maybe training to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
But where is this going to lead to? It's
I don't
weird.
know. Yeah, that's my curiosity as well. If she surprises us and she actually gets in the ring or not.
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. And then we had, there was a couple things. What we had, the Heartbreak Kid kind of show up briefly.
Yeah, I think they're doing something very similar to like ESPN or NFL Tonight or whatever, where they pick who they think is going to win the next day's rivalries. And so every video that they show is like, are you picking Edge or are you picking Randy Orton? And like people have their picks, but I don't know. I think you and I have been about the second match of this in general anyway.
Yeah,
so.
And it should have happened already if it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, but it could have. WrestleMania, I don't know.
It's this weekend, though, and from what I read, they've already recorded
I'm sure
the
they
match.
have.
So I'll be curious to see
It's going to be cinematic,
what
I guess.
that is.
That's
yeah,
my prediction.
For sure.
Then we got Charlotte and Nazca. I believe, did they have a match? Anyway, I'm brain farting. I'm looking at a really choppy results thing.
Okay.
And this is a strange one. I know that Asuka had a match with what's her face? I forgot her name again. Why am I having such a brain fart? Nia Jax.
Yes. That was Kairi and Nia.
Oh yes,
Nia.
Kairi and Nia.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember. What I remember is at the end of Asuka's match. I think it was with Charlotte. Was it?
Yeah, they had a match.
Yes, they did. Okay. Nia comes out with the green face paint.
Yep. You're right. Yeah. So they're building up that feud.
Unnecessary.
I know. And I feel like we missed something, and I didn't not try to see the spoilers from this Monday night, but I did see a photo of Ikonics with Nia, I think Asuka, Charlotte, like all the full gambit of women was in the ring together. So I don't know if
together. Well, that'd be interesting. Hopefully I don't know.
Talking. I don't know if they were actually wrestling that night.
I just don't see Nia and Asuka having a match and us being like, go Nia.
No.
Go Nia.
I know. Yeah.
At all. It's just, she's not a very credible person when it comes to wrestling character. You don't believe her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's weird. You believe her physically. She looks badass, but then when you see her facial expressions, you're like, do you really think you're going to win? You don't seem...
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I think for me, I've read too many stories of her...
being botchable?
To the point of injury. Yeah. That's what really makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Any match that you put her in. So It's hard for me to cheer for that when it's like, crap, you could totally injure that person forever.
Right. There's a couple more things here we're going to note. We have, of course, the Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens U.S. title match. I believe...
No contest, I think.
Yeah, and I believe Cruz won. You can always butt in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Andrade attacked Cruz. Garza attacked Owens.
And then it became a
tag match.
That's right.
I remember you and I watching this like, wait, did that match just roll into a second match? Which it happened twice. I think it happened on Raw and then it happened on like NXT.
Like that's like a thing now.
And we're like, oh, that's a thing. Okay, so you just ring the bell and if you want a match, you can have one.
Yes. And then we had the bowling match. Let's just pass through that.
Yeah.
Because what the hell?
I don't know.
Nikki Cross and Billie Kay backstage. Again, wow. And then we have, I'm just going to point out there's other things obviously that happened, but Lana talking backstage to, what's his face? Forgot his name. Anyway, Lana was talking.
Oh, MVP.
Yes. Because that was going to be the main event, MVP versus Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
Why main event? I don't know. But also, there's a lot of question marks on this main event because, one, Lana is a beautiful girl and she did something to her face. I'm just going to say that straight up. That just very distracting. Mm-hmm. And the storyline is Bobby Lashley doesn't want her in the ring, by the ring or ringside because she's so attractive and she's a distraction. But then she goes, well, MVP or whatever didn't say I couldn't go. So she goes anyway. And she's a quote unquote distraction, but she really doesn't do anything.
No. Nothing.
The whole thing leading up to that.
Pointless.
Meant absolutely zero.
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all.
No, I didn't. And I'm actually on WrestleView.com and they actually make a pretty good point. I want to know your thoughts on this. Is that they continue to put the main event, like the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre, who should be what the show is based on every week. They continue to put him at the very end, and statistics show that viewership drops after the first hour.
True.
So why not bring that match to the forefront? And I know I'm kind of going away from the whole Lana was a relevant thing,
but fine. That's all we had to say.
It is really a good point in that, like, why is Drew not the one opening the show? Why is his match not the first match that we're seeing?
Because then we wouldn't watch it at all.
I think it's like the old mentality of like people used to sit through 3 hours of Raw because they knew at the end Shawn Michaels and DX would come out and face whoever, right? Like you're waiting for that big star. I don't think that's the sentiment anymore when you watch Raw anymore. And that could just be me as a fan, is like you want to see all the heavy hitters up front. Like open with your Seth Rollins, open with your Drew McIntyre, those people that you're eager to see. And then, if I sit through the rest of the show, great. If I don't, then at least I saw who I want to see.
That's a good point.
It was very interesting to see that.
I agree with I agree with that. That's something that we should. I just think that that's something that, as socially, we have adapted to saving the best for last.
Yeah,
just in general.
Totally get it, because that's always been the MO.
I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm eating, I always save like my favorite piece for last.
Even though you're like so full, but you will still eat it. Yeah, you're like so delicious.
I saved it for my last.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's so true.
All right. Anything to say about Raw? Because if not, we are going to move on to NXT. All right, great. NXT, this is the wrong one again. Why do they keep sending me to the wrong one?
All good. I can start it off.
Yeah,
like we had Mia Yim, who continues to have this feud with Candace LaRae. I love your being vocal about how you feel about Candace LaRae.
Oh my God.
It cracks me up every week.
Really? I just don't understand.
And it just makes me sad because I'm from Riverside, California, and she's also from Riverside, California. And now I'm just disappointed because
I'm just shaking my head right now.
I don't know what she did with her image. I don't know why they made this. I guess it is. I do get it. They wanted her to turn heel, and this was her.
She didn't have to go
way to do it
like that.
It just makes me sad.
It's just weird.
But I do like this rivalry because then it brings in Gargano, it brings in Keith Lee. I like the four of them having a feud. I do like that. I do think I would lean towards Yemm and Lee.
Of course.
If I had to choose.
I mean, they're both bigger than both.
Just come on.
Yemm is bigger than Gargano.
It's just funny to watch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gargano is tiny. And then when you see him on Keith Lee, you can't even see Gargano like half the match.
Who was the wrestler that I said if Keith Lee ate Gargano? It was one of them.
And he looked like a hybrid of him. Yeah. We need to figure out who that is.
He's in this... in the NXT that past week. Yeah.
Well, we'll probably go through his name. But speaking of matches that roll into each other, so you have Yemm and LaRae that have the first match. That ends in a double count out. That then turns into a mixed tag team match between them and their beaux. Yep. And I believe Candace and Johnny Gargano defeat Mia Yemm and Keith Lee, but they're big cheaters, so the whole match they're cheating.
Yeah, well, they have to.
Say that.
I mean, that's the only way it would be credible. Is if
only
they
way, exactly.
Yeah.
Then we go into Isaiah Swerve Scott, who defeats Tony Nese.
Tony Nese. Yep. Surprising. Tony Nese was really up there. I believe he was cruiserweight champ for a while.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong, or at least he was like a number one contender.
Yeah, I'm not so much familiar with either of these two, actually.
Yeah, right. Jack Gallagher was up there too for a while.
Yeah.
And then we have the Undisputed Era.
Yep. Versus Breezango. It's always nice to see those guys.
Haven't seen those fools in a long time.
I know.
Yep.
I love them.
It's nice to know that they won.
Yeah, finally. Like, they keep getting buried, I think.
Yeah, I need to see them more, for sure. Like, Undisputed Era, I was like, oh, I didn't miss you guys. Go back to the pool, you know? Like,
yes. Yes. Agreed. I'm with you there.
I think they remind me of like little hobbits, like, because they're all like, it's like a little group, you know?
Yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, they're all kind of the same size. None of them looks very different than the others.
You're right.
It's so true. Then you have Santana Garrett, who defeats Aaliyah.
Yeah. Oh, I really don't like that name for her, but maybe it's her real name. Then it's
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, Santana Garrett's great, though. Really good. Really skilled.
Oh, my gosh. Who else do we have?
Cameron Grimes, Bronson Reed. Cameron Grimes. NXT Cruiserweight Championship. We have... What's his face? El Hijo del Fantasma winning.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to move on. Wasn't it?
That was it.
Because
that's after that, what's his face gets his contract. What's his face? I love how well versed I am on the names.
Well,
now.
Look at us. We're like results.
That's how memorable.
I look at results because I need to remember what we watched. Sometimes, a lot of times,
it's just a lot. Let's just face it. That's like how many hours of wrestling in 1 week. It's a
lot, and everything. Like, if at this point I'd be like, "Oh, was Rollins on NXT?" You know,
I know
like that kind of stuff. It's just really
very true. Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to SmackDown. Before we move on to In Your House, SmackDown results from last week. Let me make sure it is the correct one. It looks like it is. Okay. There's a Jeff Hardy Sheamus angle, which I kind of down for, I guess. It's different.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to see Sheamus in something interesting again. I don't know if you like Sheamus or not.
I'm not a Sheamus fan. I mean, he's all right, I guess.
I think it's just odd still. The story itself is a little odd.
Yes.
I don't know if their wrestling abilities match up either.
Yeah.
Because you've got Jeff, who's like the high flyer. You've got Sheamus, who's not.
No, he's definitely not. He's more of like a brawn.
Yeah.
Well, not beefy, but yeah. It's all right. I just think they're trying to fill in the space until Roman Reigns gets back.
Yeah, if he ever does. Yeah, that's true.
But one thing that was really funny about SmackDown was John Morrison and The Miz go like straight undercover in a freaking van to, mess with Braun Strowman, and they mess up a couple times. They got Kayla Braxton slimed. I just think it's hilarious that these guys, this tag team, two of them that are pretty big, are trying to pick on Braun Strowman, but they're so scared to see him face to face. So they're hiding in a van, putting booby traps everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious.
It is. I think, I don't know why those two guys have personalities that don't annoy me.
Yeah.
It's actually really comical what they're doing. We, as Team Amasian, have established that we will never feud over either of them because we've both picked a side.
I love that was part of our podcast today.
Never to be disclosed, but yeah, it's super funny, and I think it's funny that it's Braun. I like Braun Strowman's reaction. It was so cheesy when he flipped over the van.
Oh my god, hilarious. And then
good times.
I think we got all serious when they were breaking the windshield of the car, though. We were like, oh, that's not funny anymore.
Oh, I know.
We were traumatized.
That is true.
Hella traumatized.
Yeah, that is true. They didn't have to do that.
Anyway. All right. So then we got a couple other matches. We had Bayley and Sasha versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Guess what? Bayley and Sasha are champs, tag team champs now. Maybe they'll make their way to Raw. noticing that the women kind of fluctuate, especially the tag team divisions, because there's only one tag for women's in terms of championship.
Yeah. No, you're 100%
Yeah.
right. That's who I saw in the image.
Right. Oh,
So that's, yeah.
oh, there you go.
So that was the spoiler, was that they are on Raw. I don't know for a match or what.
Yeah, see, that makes sense now. Okay. Now, off topic, do you think that women should have a Raw tag team? And, well, not that men do either, I guess. Men don't either.
What do you mean?
On Raw and SmackDown, they only have like one tag team belt
yeah.
for the whole entire WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would keep it that way.
Yeah, that's fine.
As long as now they can cross over. Before you couldn't cross
That's
over.
right. That makes sense. Daniel Bryan, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think blah, blah, blah is right. No, it's right. Next.
Drew Gulak, who defeats AJ Styles, which is hilarious that he got let go and came back in a span of 2 weeks.
Yeah, and has a fight against AJ Styles.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. And then we got New Day and Chad Gable versus Mojo Rawley, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I was like, this is a weird coupling. Cesaro and Shinsuke, I was just getting used to, alongside, God, what's his name? I forgot his name. He was a champ, and he had to relinquish the IC champ.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
And now it's Mojo Rawley as his replacement.
Yeah.
I think that's a little odd.
I know.
Lacey Evans, who defeats Sonya Deville. I'm down for that. I didn't like Lacey Evans at first. I love her now. And then we got Otis, who defeats Baron Corbin, which is hilarious. Otis is the boy.
Takes his
Yeah,
crown.
boy. Yep.
Got the crown, got the case. I think he should just like accumulate everybody's main prop, like costume
love
prop.
him.
Whoever else has something.
He should cut all their shirts the way he cuts them and wrestle. Whoever he's wrestling, he should wear their shirt.
I'm down.
He's so funny. He's so funny. I need a cutting tutorial from him.
Yes.
It's so cute.
That's so true.
All right, let's move along to the pay-per-view this past Sunday.
Yep.
We had In Your House, which is quite the nostalgic show, I guess you could say.
I know. They even
was nice,
started
right?
with, what's his name?
That's what
Todd
I'm saying.
Pettingill.
I was like, it's kind of like cheesy, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, I'm glad they tried to play off of the fact that this was that time.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. And it was a pretty good pay-per-view, I gotta say. And I don't know if my expectations weren't that high or if it was just not too long, but it was pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. We had first one, Mia Yim, Tegan Nox, Shotzi Blackheart versus Candace LaRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. I'm so glad that Yim and Nox and Blackheart won.
Yeah, agreed.
Because those other three, I'm not feeling at all.
Yeah. Well, the match itself was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of high flying. There's just not too much like downtime.
Sure. Yeah.
I think for 6 people, like they all had a chance at the spotlight within the match. So
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, it was good. And then we got Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Balor defeats Priest. And I thought to myself, is he never going to be Demon again?
I know, right?
Yeah. I just saw that odd.
Like he has a chance to do it.
It's pay-per-view and he's not going to do it. What the fluff?
I know.
But he still defeats him. So it makes me kind of wonder, do they think that he's so elevated that he can win or lose and it won't confuse us? Because it kind of does. At least me.
Agreed. Because he just lost, right?
Yes, he just lost to Cameron Grimes.
In a regular show.
Yes. Right? Yes.
Yes.
Like clean.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we got Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
He retains the title, Lee. And I'm happy about that. I would have not been satisfied if Gargano got the title. So good
Oh
job
my
on
God.
that.
Me too. And let's talk about like Gargano stabbing him in the eye with that key. Like, what the hell? What is this fixation on eyeballs? Like, you have Seth Rollins and Raw shoving people's eyeballs into the staircase. And then now you have Gargano shoving the key into Keith Lee's eye. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But I do like that they tried to balance, like you said earlier, they're trying to balance the fact that Gargano is like smaller than even me versus Keith Lee, who's like 5 times bigger than me with the fact that Gargano is like using keys or like trying to cheat his way to win.
That's the only way I think he could win is if he cheated.
Yeah.
And then we got that. Yeah, it's funny though. But, NXT Championship: Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream. I was disappointed.
Same.
Long time no see Dream, and it's still just a dream to have him win.
Ooh, that was a good line.
Cinematic version. I don't think they needed that. That's the one thing I gotta say. Like, they really didn't need to have them fight outdoors or wherever they were doing.
No, and then you got like the random drive-in of Dexter Lumis, who takes Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish in the trunk.
I guess just to make sure that they don't intercept. Just really didn't need it.
Just odd. It was I was with you. I think it could have been better.
No. And then we got Tommaso Ciampa versus Karrion Kross. Our surprise, or maybe not to your surprise, Ciampa lost. I was surprised by that because Ciampa's a very heavy duty guy in NXT, well loved, well received, and to lose to I was going to say Killer Kross to Karrion Kross means that they're going to really push Kross. Is what I'm thinking. Heavy pushing.
Totally.
Yeah,
I got the same vibe.
Yep. And then finally, NXT's Women's Championship main event: Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai. What a wonderful ending. Io Shirai gets the championship, NXT Women's title. First time for her. Because I wonder how long she's going to retain it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm proud of her. I'm happy for her. What a great ending to the show. I think.
And I think the best match of the pay-per-view, I would say.
Yes, by far.
Very, very equal. Like, everyone had an opportunity. I love always seeing Rhea go against Charlotte because I feel like they match up really well. Io added like a good amount of like high flying and like daredevil stunts as well. And it was so cool to see her win with the best, well, in your opinion, I think, also mine, the best entrance music in the NXT.
Yep.
Io Shirai.
Yeah, she's got great entrance music. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. All 3 of these women have had the championship at some point, left their mark for the women's when it comes to wrestling, period. So this is a good milestone, and that is how they end in your house, and that is how we end this podcast. So thank you guys for joining us. In the meantime, I hope you guys are doing well. We hope you're doing well. In the meantime, where can people follow you, Anne?
You can follow me at Anne Campia.
And you can follow us at Team Amasian, and you can follow me at KAORIOUS. Stay safe, my friends, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.